Welcome back for another Latinian style. This time, we're going to be exploring something super interesting, sugar-free Indian desserts. So we're kind of looking at how to enjoy these classic treats while still, keeping that sugar intake in check. And for this, I thought, who better to turn to than Anand Bhatt? You might recognize him. He's the host of Rockstar Recipes, A&D, the first Indian American to walk the Latin Grammy red carpet. So talk about, someone who can blend cultures. And Bhatt, is a big fan of using sugar-free syrups when making healthier versions of Indian desserts. And one of the brands that he recommends is Syruvia. They've got all these sugar-free syrups in all sorts of yummy flavors, and they're kosher-certified. They're gluten-free, contain 0 calories, 0 carbs, and they actually use sucralose for that sweetness, so you still get that, that sweetness that you're craving without all the sugar. And Bhatt, he actually has these 2 sugar-free dessert recipes on his blog, ready for the red carpet, that I thought we could take a look at today. One is sugar-free Coconut Ladoo, and the second is sugar-free White Chocolate Mocha Shrikhand.
I mean, the names themselves sound pretty amazing, right? But I think before we actually jump into the recipes themselves, I think it's worth talking about, what makes these sugar-free alternatives so unique, Indian desserts, they're known for being rich and sugary, right? And they often have ingredients like ghee, milk, and of course, lots and lots of sugar. So how do you get those same great flavors without using those traditional sweeteners? That's what we're going to be looking at today. All right, so first up is the sugar-free Coconut Ladoo. Now, ladoo, these are small ball-shaped sweets that are really, really popular in India. They're usually made with desiccated coconut, which is basically finely shredded coconut that's been dried. And that gives the ladoo that nice chewy texture. Now, in Bhatt's version, he uses almond flour in addition to the coconut, and then a little bit of cardamom powder is added. That cardamom gives it that warm, aromatic flavor that you think of when you think about Indian desserts. And then, if you want to add a little bit of crunch, you can fold in some chopped nuts like cashews or almonds or pistachios.
And then here's the secret ingredient, the Syruvia's sugar-free coconut syrup. This replaces the sugar that you normally use and binds all the ingredients together into these perfect little ladoo balls. And the best part is, this recipe is so simple, it's all about the texture. So you roast the coconut and the almond flour to give it that nice sweetness and crunch. Then you just combine everything together, shape the mixture, and then pop it in the fridge to chill and set. See? Super easy.
Right. Okay, now let's talk about the sugar-free White Chocolate Mocha Shrikhand. Shrikhand is another classic Indian dessert. It's known for being creamy and yogurt-based, with those delicate flavors. The key ingredient is hung yogurt, sometimes called chakka. It's basically Greek yogurt that you strain to remove all the extra liquid. That gives you a really thick yogurt, almost like cream cheese. And that's the base of the Shrikhand. But then Bhatt takes it up a notch with some interesting flavors. He adds Syruvia's sugar-free white chocolate mocha syrup, which is a flavor combo I never would have thought of. And then for a touch of that classic Indian flavor, he uses cardamom powder.
And if you want to get real fancy, you can add a pinch of saffron for that pretty golden color and that subtle floral aroma. Oh, and then top it off with some chopped pistachios to add a little crunch and make it look extra special. I think what's so cool about this recipe is that it takes traditional Indian flavors and then mixes them with more modern tastes. White chocolate and cardamom. That might sound a little weird at first, but it works so well together. And since we're using the sugar-free syrup, you get to enjoy all those rich flavors without feeling guilty. So we've got these 2 awesome-sounding recipes, the sugar-free Coconut Ladoo and the sugar-free White Chocolate Mocha Shrikhand, both using Syruvia's sugar-free syrups. But before we all go running to the store, let's take a look at what people are actually saying about these specific Syruvia syrups, the coconut and the white chocolate mocha. You can find both of them on Amazon. Now, the coconut syrup, it seems to be pretty popular with people who are looking for a sugar-free option. A lot of the reviews mention that it tastes just like real coconut and that you can use it in a bunch of different ways. But some people have complained about the quality being, inconsistent. There have been some reports of damaged bottles, and some people say the flavor changes from batch to batch. Kind of the same thing with the white chocolate mocha syrup. It also gets good reviews for its taste and for being sugar-free. People love that rich chocolate flavor without the extra sugar. But just like with the coconut syrup, there are concerns about the quality of the bottles and how the taste can vary. So it seems like there might be a bit of a risk when ordering these online. But honestly, inconsistencies with taste and packaging are pretty common when you shop for food online. It's not just Syruvia. The good news is, even with these drawbacks, most people seem to really enjoy the flavor of both syrups. And they're sugar-free, gluten-free, low-carb, so they're a really good choice if you have to watch what you eat. Now, I know what you might be thinking. These syrups sound great for Indian desserts, but can you use them for anything else? And the answer is absolutely. Think outside the box here. Like imagine you're making pancakes or waffles and you drizzle that coconut syrup on top for a little tropical flavor. Or you could add some to your coffee in the morning for a creamy coconut latte. And the white chocolate mocha syrup. That would be amazing in smoothies or in your oatmeal, even on top of ice cream. What I love about these sugar-free syrups is that they open up so many possibilities to enjoy those sweet flavors without all the sugar. You can try them in tons of different recipes, sweet and even savory. They're a fun way to get creative in the kitchen. So far, we've looked at two really tempting sugar-free Indian desserts and explored the world of Syruvia's sugar-free syrups. We've talked about the good, the bad, and the sometimes inconsistent reviews, but here's something to consider. We've been focusing on pre-made syrups, but what if you wanted to go totally DIY? Like, what if you wanted to make your own sugar-free substitutes from scratch, using things like natural sweeteners? Like, think about the possibilities there. What about using, I don't know, dates or honey, maybe even stevia to, like, recreate those classic Indian dessert flavors? Could you, I don't know, get that coconut ladoo flavor using, like, a date paste that's sweetened with a touch of cardamom? Or what about, like, a creamy Shrikhand that's infused with white chocolate? But instead of sugar, you use, I don't know, a combo of stevia and vanilla extract. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, but it's also like a really fun way to get creative in the kitchen and experiment with new flavors, right? Plus, you know, there's just something so satisfying about making something delicious and healthy all on your own.
So yeah, that's our Latinian-style look at sugar-free Indian desserts. We got inspired by Anand Padhat and his really unique approach to making those healthier desserts. We talked about pre-made sugar-free syrups, looked at some of the online reviews, and even brainstormed some ways to make your own sugar-free versions from scratch. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried making any sugar-free Indian desserts? What are your go-to natural sweeteners? Let me know, share your tips and tricks in the comments below. Until next time, happy cooking. And remember, you can enjoy the sweetness of life without all the sugar. And hey, if you do try making your own sugar-free sweeteners, let me know how it goes.
You know, tag us on social media. We love seeing what you guys come up with and hearing about your sugar-free wins. Well, that wraps up this Latindian style. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, stay curious, keep experimenting, and never be afraid to indulge that sweet tooth the healthy way.